What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Just Cuz TV channel for a special holiday edition of our NFL weekly picks and survivor picks. As always, on our NFL videos, I'm joined by my good buddy Jeff. What's going on, man?
Not much, buddy. How you doing?
Ready for Christmas? Ready for Christmas football this
Yes,
week?
sir.
Ready to go. And as always, I am joined by Dr. Wes. What's going on, man?
How's it going, Santa Claus, Anthony?
I knew you were gonna do something like that, man. I had a feeling. Something told me. It's festive. It's the holiday season. Christmas is what, 2 days away. Are you guys ready for a treat this week for last week's results?
Absolutely.
I'm not so sure.
Oh, I say treat, not to spoil it or anything, but I have finally won a solo week. It only took, 15 weeks?
You did it.
Congratulations, brother. It's about time.
All right, that will do it for this episode, guys. Thanks. I'm just kidding. Finally, 12, even with the Rams and Steelers just absolute debacles last week. 12 right to pull within 1 of Jeff and 4 of Dr. West. Got to make up 2 for the rest of each week. We got going so far this year, and I think we're going to be doing playoff episodes for everybody. So looking forward to those as well, guys.
Nice.
Week 16, Christmas week. You ready to go?
Yeah, I mean, the AFC playoff race is going to be super competitive, so it should be an interesting week of football.
It is. Let's go, guys. Let's hop into it.
I got some giveaways.
Oh yes, Dr. West, the giveaway. I do apologize. We can't get ahead of ourselves like that.
I'm only interrupting you because I got a big one this week. I'm getting rid of a card that I don't want to get rid of.
Let's go.
But you know what? I want to get things spicy on this channel. So let's recap. You guys haven't beat me now, so this is now 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So first was Lamar Jackson, Sparkly Mosaic, got game. Then we got this trash player named Troy Polamalu, who is Hall of Fame card. Boo. Then we have Jeff Spirit Animal, Josh Allen, nice shiny card.
Beautiful.
Now this one is the one I'm really regretting that I decided that I'm going to get rid of, but here we go. It is the Tua Rookie Mosaic.
Wow.
Rookie Tua card up for grabs this week, y'all.
I don't want to. It's in pristine condition too. I think it's a PSA 10. It's beautiful.
Oh, PSA 10 rookie Tua. Guys, all you got to do, beat Dr. West. You got to like the video and put your picks down in the comments. You guys haven't been able to do it for 3 weeks running now.
Yeah.
Dr. West's head is getting big. He's throwing big guns out there now.
Tua,
Look at that.
I don't want to get rid of this, but
he's very confident.
Somebody try to take it.
It is celebratory as well because the channel has just reached 100 subscribers officially today. So thank you all for tuning in to the channel and watching the NFL videos. I will link my giveaway video down below. Go check that out. Figure out a way. We're going to have a special giveaway. I'm not going to spoil it for all y'all in this video. You got to go check out the video. Wink, wink. All right, guys. You ready to go? Let's get into it. Week 16. You ready? Just as a reminder, guys, all of our odds and lines are brought to you by DK Sportsbook. They are obviously subject to change as the week goes on. We film on Wednesday nights to get our picks information out there for you guys. And just as a reminder, all of our picks are straight up. We go and look at the odds, analyze the spreads and the overs, unders, all that good stuff. But our picks are straight up. We keep it easy on you guys. Let's go. Friday night football coming at you here. We've got the 6-8 Minnesota Vikings traveling to the 10-4 New Orleans Saints. New Orleans a touchdown home favorite here with an over-under set at 51.5 to kick off your week on a high note. After playing their way back into the playoff picture after a 1-5 start, but now on the back of 2 straight losses, the Vikings have all but played their way out of the playoffs as they sit 2 games behind the Cardinals for that coveted 7 seed in the NFC. Also, falling from graces in the past 2 weeks, the Saints have lost 2 in a row, both by 3 points to the Eagles and Kansas City, and now find themselves a game behind Green Bay for the number 1 seed in the NFC. Jeff, we kick it off with you every single week, man. Which team will end their 2-game losing streak here on Friday night?
Friday Night Lights, NFL style. You know what? The Saints have lost 2 in a row, but Breeze is a little rusty, I guess, and they obviously ran into probably the best team in the NFL last week in the Kansas City Chiefs. The Vikings, I don't know. They don't have a quarterback, obviously, that can play to the level of Drew Brees. Kirk Cousins, yeah, he's got Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, and Dalvin Cook, more importantly. But that defense is not a Mike Zimmer vintage defense. Alvin Kamara is going to pick up the slack for Michael Thomas this week. I'm looking for the Saints here. I just don't think that this is going to be a close one. Give me the Saints.
Yeah, I don't think Minnesota has much to play for anymore this year. But Dr. West, who you going with?
I agree with Jeff. I don't feel real strong about it, especially with the 7-point margin. These teams have a lot of bad blood between each other for the past couple of years, and I can see it being a close game. But the Vikings just don't have anything to play for. I really don't think they're that great. They lost to the Bears, who are just not good. So give me the Saints.
Yeah, not only did they lose to the Bears, they made David Montgomery look like Barry Sanders. So Alvin Kamara is going to run all over them. It's just not going to be close.
Yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to this, guys. So in our home league, not to rub it in, it's my, I'm not there very often. I'm in the championship for the first time. It feels like Jeff is not in the championship. So, pats on back for me. I actually have both the running backs in this game. I have Dalvin Cook and Alvin Kamara kicking off my NFL week huge on Friday night. But yeah, I'm hoping that this game has a ton of points in it. I'm hoping this game goes like 55-50 with 13 rushing touchdowns along the way. That'd be fantastic. But Drew Brees last week did not look like his usual self. He was knocking all that rust off. He went 15 for 34. He was sub 50% completion percentage in that game against Kansas City. But again, that was a knock the rust off game. A game where they still only lost by 3 points. Minnesota could barely beat the Panthers and Jaguars before losses to the Bucs and the Bears over the past 2 weeks. And New Orleans actually allows the 4th fewest rushing yards per game. So maybe Dalvin Cook catches some passes here, I don't know, but Alvin Kamara should be able to run through this defense. And with Drew Brees back, they don't have Michael Thomas, but it doesn't matter at this point, obviously. Taking the Saints for a sweep here on Friday night. That will take us to Game 1 of 3 games here on Saturday. The 9-5 Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveling to the 5-9 Detroit Lions. Tampa, roughly 9.5-point home favorite here with an over-under at 53.5. Big games here to kick off the week. There are 3 guarantees in life at this point, though, guys. Death, taxes, and Tom Brady making a comeback against the Falcons. Right?
Yes.
He did it again last week after being down 17-0 at the half to beat the Falcons 31-27 to all but lock up a playoff spot. Which playoff spot that is to be determined. But now they can actually push for the division title with a win this week, and New Orleans stumbles against the Vikings. Detroit has lost 4 of their last 5. With a post-Matt Patricia 34-30 win against the Bears in the middle of those 5 games. Dr. West, which NFC team kicks off our Saturday with a win?
Well, you guys know that I'm not a big Bucks guy. I like to pick against them, but I'm also not entirely stupid. So I just can't stomach taking the Lions. So give me the Buccaneers, but not a game I want to see.
No, not even at 53.5. You're not interested?
Meh.
No?
Meh.
All right, kicking off your Saturday. Not interested in football.
I'm still gonna watch it.
Okay. Jeff, who you got, man?
Well, I could be wrong, but hasn't the entire coaching staff on the defensive side of the ball for the Lions either come down with COVID or because of contact tracing is questionable to even show up for the game Saturday? So all of their meetings are virtual for the most part. So they're going against Tom Brady. They're not sure about the coaching staff's availability. All of that, Matt Stafford's still in pain. TJ Hawkinson doesn't look like he's playing up to his level. The only player that looks like they've showed up the past couple weeks is Marvin Jones. And let's be honest, Marvin Jones would probably be the wide receiver 3 on the Tampa Bay Bucks. I just think that, again, there's just too much going for Tampa. With all these obstacles now thrown in Detroit's way, Detroit's not going to be able to contend. Let's go with Tampa.
Yep, we're leading the sweep to kick off our NFL week here. Detroit has only scored 30-plus 3 times this year. That's it, 3 out of 15 games. Meanwhile, Tampa is averaging 30.2 points over their last 5 games. Detroit's eliminated from the playoffs here. You can't virtually prepare for Tom Brady, like Jeff said. That's not how that works. Tampa still has a lot to play for, while Detroit has nothing to play for. I can't see Matt Stafford. He's a gutty dude, but I don't see any reason why he'd be out there for this game. I'm going to take the Bucks here. Leading the sweep, maybe that'll change with this game. I don't know. You guys have been backing the Niners a lot this year. We've got Game 2 on Saturday. The 5-9 San Francisco 49ers traveling to the 8-6 Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals a 5-point home favorite. Over-under at 48.5. With the loss to the Cowboys last week in Dallas, San Fran has actually now lost 6 of their last 7. They just put Raheem Mostert on IR yet again to end the season. And guys, Nick Mullins is now out with an elbow injury, paving the way for CJ Beathard to start again. After the Cardinals' 3-game losing streak, they beat up on the NFC East with 2 wins over the Giants and the Eagles, and now get a divisional matchup against the third-string 49ers. During their push to actually hold on to that 7 seed, Jeff, who wins this NFC West matchup?
Man, can we just talk about all the injuries the 49ers have had this year? It's unbelievable how snake-bitten they've been. Now, they may get George Kittle back, but now they've lost Mostert. I guess they've got Jeff Wilson Jr. as their lead back with maybe Jerick McKinnon sprinkled in there. Brandon Ayuk been great, but Kyler Murray, he's actually shown that he maybe is over that shoulder injury. He actually put up a great game last week. Too many injuries for San Francisco to deal with. This is a pretty easy one for me. I'm going with Arizona.
Taking Arizona. Wes, you're going to differ from Jeff here.
I am not. We're just going to keep keeping the party line. I like them -5 also. I think the 49ers, I watched a lot of that game last week, and they were very unimpressive against the Cowboys, who are not good. Beathard's even worse than Mullins, and Mullins is horrible. So Kyler threw for 400 yards last week. I like the Cardinals a lot in this game.
Wow, guys, we're going to have to do something different here.
Oh, don't worry. I have a crazy pick coming up.
I've picked Arizona all year, man. Kyler did look much better. Wes, you said it perfectly. He threw for 406 and 3 touchdowns. He appears to be back to full strength. The Niners have nothing left to play for this year except to hopefully get through the rest of the season without any injuries. Did I see some weird stat that they have like $80 million in cap space on the IR or some weird stat like that? It's unbelievable.
Bosa, Kittle, Mostert. I don't even know how much he was really making, but that whole roster has just been ravaged.
Garoppolo.
Yeah,
yep.
Garoppolo's on there.
Now, there was some talk that maybe he might come back, but why bring him back? And even if he does come back, one of the more overrated quarterbacks in the league. Not that Beathard's any good, but I don't think that would even be enough here. They're just beat down, and they just need to end the season without anyone else getting injured, if that's possible for them.
Yeah, Arizona should easily win this game at home against the third-string 49ers. And that will take us to, let's see if we can avoid a sweep in this game, y'all. Maybe. Let's see here. Last game on Saturday, the 9-5 Miami Tuas traveling to the 7-7 Las Vegas Raiders. Miami 3-point road favorite here with an over-under of 47.5, the lowest we've seen thus far. I feel like, guys, if there was a hump that Tua needed to clear this year, it was the Bill Belichick versus rookie quarterbacks hump. He did it pretty well on Sunday, defeating the Patriots 22-12, albeit it was on the back of Salvon Ahmed's 23 carries for 122 yards and a touchdown. Fun stat for Vegas, though, for you guys. The Jaguars are the only AFC team to allow more points than the Raiders this year.
Wow.
AFC, yeah, Raiders allowing the second most points in the AFC. And while the Dolphins' offense won't knock your socks off, they are actually allowing the fewest points in the NFL this season. So 2 vastly different defenses coming into this game. Dr. West, this is a big playoff deciding matchup for the Dolphins. Who do you got?
Yeah, I keep falling for the Raiders. I thought that John Gruden, he was my coach of the year candidate. And then ever since I started preaching that, they've just been shit in the bed. The Dolphins have looked great, and it's really not even Tua's doing. Just like you said, their defense is really good. They don't get enough credit. I think that they are going to make Derek Carr's life very difficult, and give me the Dolphins.
Taking the Dolphins. All right. Not shying away from the mean here too much thus far for all of us. Jeff, taking the Dolphins?
Yeah, you call them the Tuas. I say they're more the Xavier Howards because that's the real star of the Miami Dolphins. He's a shutdown, lockdown corner, and the defense is, like Wes said, is why they're winning games. It's not Tua, although Tua did play pretty well. Like you said, going up against Bill Belichick as a rookie, not trying to discount that. They get Myles Gaskin back potentially this week, so they could have a 2-headed monster at running back, and I think that gives them the edge. Derek Carr did practice in full today, although there was some concern that groin injury was more severe than Gruden was letting on. Mariota looked good, but I wouldn't trust Mariota against the Dolphins. If he did start, though, this game would break the records in Hawaii for football game watch. You'd have Tua Tagovailoa and Marcus Mariota, two Hawaii natives, but I don't think that's going to happen. Regardless, Xavier Howard and the boys on the defense for the Dolphins are going to make sure the Raiders lose and they ensure their spot in the playoffs. Give me the Dolphins.
So, Miami is 4-2 on the road this year, while the Raiders, that brand new stadium they got, brand spanking new, they are 2-5 there. This Miami defense has literally been no joke so far this year, and honestly, whether it is Carr or Mariota, it doesn't matter. Give me the Dolphins, and we've got 4 sweeps to kick off our week thus far. Friday, Saturday, Sweepville.
Boring.
Yeah,
Right.
let's see if we can change it up here. This may divide us here a little bit. Jeff, that number or that win column number has actually gone up for the Bengals.
Unbelievable.
I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh no, go ahead. Yeah.
Just unbelievable. 3. To see the 3 there. I mean, there's a local gas station around here that had a sign that said, "Let's go Bengals, beat the." Oh, who are we kidding? There's nobody in Cincinnati that saw this coming. But yeah, either way, I'm supremely impressed that they actually managed to beat the Steelers. I think the first time since 2015, if I'm not mistaken. So
that sounds about right. Yeah. It's been Steelers, dominance over the Bengals for a while now, for sure. But we are now blessed with a matchup of Wes's 2 big underbets at the start of the year, facing each other now that Wes has already been paid out on those 2 bets. I'm still really confused about what happened on Monday night as the Bengals pulled off a very surprising victory, to put it lightly, over the Steelers 27-17. And a game where if you watched it was never really that close. The Steelers never pushed the Bengals. Ryan Finley only threw for 89 yards, but it was the run game where they shined. It was Gio, and it was that option with Finley. And this is an area that Houston struggles with, allowing the second most rush yards per game. We got a fun one here, guys. Houston has lost 3 in a row, but maybe this isn't the remedy that we thought it was going to be, facing the Bengals like we thought it was for the Steelers. So, Jeff, can the Bengals do it again?
No. You're not going to win games in the National Football League very often when you only put up 89 yards passing. Yeah, they managed to pull off the major upset last week, but a lot of that was due to turnovers. Deshaun Watson is clearly outplaying Ben Roethlisberger at this point. I don't see the Bengals creating 3 turnovers again. Can we talk about Ryan Finley for a moment? Every time they show that man on camera, I can't decide if he's super happy or in excruciating pain. It's just uncanny. At the end of the day, there's just not enough going for the Bengals. I mean, their offensive line looks a little bit better, but Ryan Finley just can't seem to form any kind of meaningful connection with the wide receivers. I'm not sure if Tyler Boyd is going to come back and play this week after being in concussion protocol. He overthrew or threw high to T. Higgins on a number of passes. I don't think they catch lightning in a bottle twice, so give me the Texans.
All right, Dr. Wes, taking the Bengals?
I will not. I'm going to take the Texans. Like I said, these are 2 teams I was really low on at the beginning of the year. Got that cash now in my pocket, so I can make some stupid decisions, but this is not one of them. I will say though, 8.5 points is way too many. Like, in what planet are the Texans, who have lost 3 in a row, more than a touchdown favorite against the Bengals that prove they can go on the road and beat the Steelers? Like, I understand that it'd be hard for them to do that again, but I don't know. That seems like way too many points to me. I'm going to take the Texans, but I would not bet this game. It just reeks.
Okay, yeah, and William Jackson, shout out to him. He's actually done a really good job as the number 1 cornerback for the Bengals so far this year. I don't have his defensive stats in front of me, but he's been shutting down number 1 receivers over the past couple of weeks. So good on him, man. The Bengals are fighting for they have something to play for, which they really don't. I will say regarding this game as a whole, I've been saying it all year, and Dr. West, you actually said it perfectly last week. Even though Deshaun Watson is the best quarterback in the matchup, it hasn't guaranteed success for Houston this particular year. This week, though, with the Bengals leaving the confines of the jungle, They won at home. That was probably a huge motivating factor. Had that game been in Pittsburgh, I think it would have been a completely different story. But they're traveling to Houston here. We'll see how well Ryan Finley travels this week. 89 yards at home. That may get halved this week. You never know if Tyler Boyd's not there, who is in concussion protocol. So sweep of the Texans to make it 5 in a row. And something tells me, guys, it's not going to change with this game.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, we've got the 4-10 Atlanta Falcons, fresh off another Tom Brady comeback, traveling to the 13-1 Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs pick a number, 11. They're 11 right now. Home favorite, over/under 54. Pretty solid over/under here. With Atlanta's loss in Game 1 to the Bucs and yet another Tom Brady comeback, they have now lost 4 of their last 5 and are only averaging 22 points a game in those 5 games. On the flip side, what else can we say about Kansas City this year? I think we've covered them pretty much in full. They pushed their win streak to 9 games, and they now have 9 games this season where they have scored more than 30 points. Just absolutely insane. What is crazy, though, is each of their last 6 games have been decided by 6 points or less. Dr. Wes, can Kansas City make it 10 in a row and lock up the number 1 seed in the AFC?
I think they will, but I'm going to make the bold prediction that I think that the Falcons will be leading at halftime. This is the type of game where Kansas City's just going to come out sleepwalking against a crappy opponent, and the Falcons, they historically start hot, and then what do? Just completely shit the bed in the second half. So I think the Falcons will be up like 17-7 at half and lose 17-35 or something.
They should change the name to like the Atlanta Frontrunners or something like that. Like they're not a second half team. Jeff, taking the Chiefs?
Yeah, Raheem Morris has worked wonders for this Falcons team. I really think that he's got them playing a lot harder. The scheme on defense especially has seemed to stepped up a bunch. Tyreek Hill's a little bit banged up. But even if he sits out of an abundance of caution, which I don't think he will, Mecole Hardman, Sammy Watkins, let's not forget like the greatest tight end in all of football and a University of Cincinnati alum, Travis Kelce, is still there. And the running game for the the Falcons is kind of in flux. Todd Gurley's essentially been benched. Now it's the Ito Smith show. Ito Smith carrying that running game, and I don't think that they're going to bring Julio Jones back. And that offense, although it did put up a decent amount of points against Tampa last week, they're going to need more points than what they put up against Tampa to keep pace with the Chiefs. And without Julio Jones, or not a 100% Julio Jones, they just can't do it. But I think they'll give them a good effort. I don't think Kansas City's going to cover.
Jeff, you taking my lead in perfectly here. So between these 2 stats that I got for you guys, you ready? So between that stat where, each game for Kansas City has been decided by 6 points or less, and then 2 of Atlanta's 4 wins this year have come against fellow AFC West teams, the Broncos and the Raiders. Interesting setup here I'm not calling it a trap game by any means, but plus 11 for the Falcons, who, let's be honest, they can score if the weather's right, it's the mood is right, it looks good, they can score. Chiefs might be at that, okay, we're ready for the playoffs. I almost clicked Atlanta and I didn't want to do that.
Come on, man, take a leap. You gotta pick up some games on West, man.
Nope, I can't. This is not the one though. This isn't it. Atlanta, they're just not a good team. I think the Chiefs do. I'm not going to say they roll here, but another 6-point game is well within the cards here. The Falcons can get up 17-0 like they did on the Bucs last week. So Chiefs win, but again, Jeff, Dr. West said it perfectly. I like the plus 11 here for Atlanta. I really do. What is going on with these games this week? I don't see how we're going to stop picking the same. I don't know, maybe the Jets having a 1 in the win column will help here, but they now play host to the 10-4 Cleveland Browns. Cleveland, about a 10-point road favorite here with an over-under set at 47. I will say we may have to give this game a little bit more attention than we thought with the completely surprising win. And some may call it a stupid win by the Jets against the Rams last week, 23-20. They essentially kind of blew their chance at the number 1 pick, but they now get Cleveland, who has won 5 of their last 6, with their only loss being that crazy Monday night game against the Ravens. And they're averaging almost 33 points a game in their last 4, a mark the Jets have not eclipsed a single time thus far this season. Jeff, Just like the Bengals last week. Can the Jets do it again?
Hey, is Adam Gase trying to get fired? He just won a game last week. That is total Jets football right there. Hey, we've got this Trevor Lawrence thing wrapped up. Let's go ahead and blow that against the Rams. Nobody saw that coming, but Pittsburgh losing, like you hit the nail on the head, that has reinvigorated this chase in the AFC North. Now the division crown, which God knows how long it's been since Cleveland's won a division crown, is now in play. They're going to come out ready. They're not going to slip up like the Rams did last week. Baker Mayfield has looked great since Odell Beckham has went down. They've got a killer running game. That defense is going to hold the Jets in check. The Browns are going to win this game and potentially run away with the AFC North. Who would have ever thought that at the beginning of the year?
Browns for the AFC North? Dr. Wes, are you going to take the Jets here to make it 2 in a row?
Nope, I don't think so. Jeff does bring up a good point. I think the Browns in the offseason need to trade Odell for whatever they can get. I don't care if it's like a 3rd or a 4th round pick. Like, they are clearly better without his antics. And this game, the Browns are just proving what happens when you get rid of Freddie Kitchens. They have basically the same team they had last year, except no Freddie Kitchens, and look at how much better they are. And I'm starting to believe this is the downfall of being an Ohio professional sports fan. You start to get hope, and that's when it gets ripped away from you. So proceed with caution, but I'm taking the Browns.
Taking the Browns? I feel like I've picked the Jets twice so far this year. And I can't do it a 3rd time. I swore them off. I swore them off. They were part of my parlay last week where I lost. I'm still salty. I hate the Jets. They're still really bad. I will say we've all had our doubts of Jared Goff over the past few seasons where if Sean McVay is not telling him exactly what to do, he looks like a lost little puppy out there. He was absolutely horrible against the Jets. He made the Jets, I saw a meme, look like the 85 Bears last week. He had like 6 3-and-outs in the first half. The Jets were like allowing the 3rd most passing yards per game, and Goff has the weapons. He just couldn't do anything. Baker doesn't seem like he wants to slow down. Cleveland should roll here. I think the Jets caught lightning in a bottle last week. I don't think it happens here again. I just really don't.
No, we're not going to see the Jets and the Bengals pull off. Although the Bengals have a less daunting task, but yeah, the Jets aren't doing it again.
Yeah, not a chance. We're going with a Cleveland sweep here. Maybe this game will get us broken up here a little bit. Something with a little bit more on the line here. We've got the 10-4 Indianapolis Colts traveling to the 11-3 now Pittsburgh Steelers. Colts, a 2-point favorite in Pittsburgh. Over under 44.5. 2 good defensive teams here. If there was one matchup of 2 teams going completely different directions this week, I think this one's it. Indy, they have won 3 in a row in 5 of their last 6 after beating the Texans 27-20 in the last minute last week to stay tied with the Titans atop the AFC South. Meanwhile, there's a shift in Pittsburgh, who after starting 11-0 have now lost 3 in a row and have failed to eclipse 17 points in any of those 3 games, a mark the Colts have eclipsed in their past 6 games. Dr. Wes, do you see a turnaround in Pittsburgh, or will they make it 4 losses in a row?
Yeah, the Steelers have not looked impressive lately. But I just have a hard time believing that the Colts are going to go into Pittsburgh and win. I just don't see it. Like Jeff was saying, the AFC North race is getting interesting. I see that the Steelers are going to come out and they're going to want blood after getting embarrassed on national TV by the Bengals. So give me a bounce back win for the Steelers.
Taking the Steelers. Jeff, you going to be different from Dr. Wes here?
Yeah, I am. I've got to make up some ground,
Finally.
So I might as well go with the Colts. Ben Roethlisberger, what the hell has happened to him? I think you can pretty much put the loss against the Bengals squarely on his shoulder, other than Juju dancing on the logo, which has been covered ad nauseum. And he came out today and said he will no longer dance on the opponent's logo. But if you look at that first turnover, it was just a muffed exchange between Pouncey and Roethlisberger. How many times have they done that in the past? And his interceptions have he missed numerous times where Claypool was running wide open down the field. His interceptions where he's throwing into coverage. I don't know. Something doesn't seem to be right with him. I don't know if it's confidence or it's injury. And, Connor has not been good. Benny Snell looked a little better, but that was the Bengals. The Colts have a much better defense, and they're hot in a playoff chase here too. They're right there neck and neck with the Titans. The momentum is against the Steelers. I heard the Steelers offense described as a Ponzi scheme, and I think that's appropriate. So, and I need to make up some ground on the West, and I hate picking the Steelers anyway, so give me the Colts.
Steelers hater coming through here taking the Colts. You love to see it. So,
yeah.
Breaker of ties. Finally, my role has been redeemed here. It only took us 8 games or whatever to get into this, but I'm going to take Pittsburgh. I do think I was going to wait to hear your guys' pitches on this game because I actually didn't have a pick for this game locked in. I had Pittsburgh written down, but I had no notes for why. So the fact that they did lose to the Bengals on national TV. This is Mike Tomlin, who he has bad guy face all the time. He just looks like he's always angry. I can't wait to see his bad guy face at home this game against the Colts. I think he's going to take it all out on the Colts, who I've been saying it all year. I don't know how they're 10-4. I watched them play and they scored 37 points this week. But no one had any touchdowns. I don't know where the touchdowns are coming from. No one scores. Naheem Hines has 2 touchdowns one week, followed by 5 total yards the next week. Pittman has a 2-touchdown game, followed by a 3-catch, 10-yard performance the next week. They're very inconsistent with how they score. I think now that they're getting that defensive test of Pittsburgh in December, not a dome game. Phillip Rivers is 175 years old, so he can't handle the cold weather anymore. I'm going to take Pittsburgh at home here and leave Jeff on the Indy Island.
Yeah, Indy's kind of a boring city, but I'll take it over Pittsburgh.
Touche. I wouldn't want to go to Pittsburgh. Indy's okay though. Indy's okay. That will take us to our 7-7. I call them our Chicago Bears. I don't know whose Bears they are, but they're definitely not ours. 7-7 Chicago Bears traveling to the 1-13 Jacksonville Jaguars. Chicago, we've finally done it, guys. They are a favorite in a football game. It's been 10 weeks since that happened, and it just happens to be now against the Jaguars. Over us at 47. The Jags, they have now lost 13 games in a row, and thanks to the Jets, are now primed to land the services of Trevor Lawrence in the number 1 overall pick. I don't know why the Jets won. We just covered that. Whatever. Chicago, though, they have now won 2 in a row after putting up 36 points against the Texans and 33 points against the Vikings, showing that Trubisky may have rounded a corner with this offense a little bit. Or was it David Montgomery? We'll get that here in a second. Jeff, this one's pretty easy, though, right?
Yeah, I don't think there's any way in hell Jacksonville pulls a Jets here and screws up their potential landing of the second coming of Peyton Manning, a.k.a. Trevor Lawrence. And to your point, I don't know, is it David Montgomery or is it Trubisky? They've both been a revelation over the past few weeks. It's probably more to do with the fact that they've had some really soft matches when it comes to defenses. Yeah, the Vikings were halfway decent, I guess, but they've just run through some bad defenses, and that streak is going to continue. Jacksonville just looks like they're mailing it in. I don't even think the players are interested in playing anymore. The Bears, 7.5-point spread, hammer that. They're going to crush them.
Yeah, imagine winning your first game of the year against the Colts and then not winning for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Getting the win out of the way.
People were talking about Gardner Minshew potentially being the quarterback of the future. Nah, ain't gonna happen.
No. Dr. West, is Gardner Minshew the quarterback of the future for the Jaguars?
I'm going to talk crazy. This is my crazy pick. I'm taking the Jaguars. All right. I have talked myself into this narrative that, number one, they're an incompetent organization. So what would be the most incompetent thing they could do? They could win here and, again, give the Jets Trevor Lawrence. That's number one. Number two, they're starting Gardner Minshew. He is going to do everything he can to make sure that the best quarterback in the last 10 years doesn't get put on his team. He wants that to be his team. He's going to ball out. And it's against the Bears, who are really not good. I know they put up some points against crappy teams, but I've talked myself into this narrative. I can't get myself out of it. The lock button for this week, the Dr. West lock button, is plus 7.5 for the Jaguars. They play close games as long as they're not playing the Ravens. I think the stars are aligning for a Jaguars win.
Wow.
I'm speechless.
This is what having a head start against you guys also. Got a little bit of a cushion.
You should be coasting, man. Do the finger rolls here
I'm
instead
balling
of taking the half-court shots.
Yeah.
Nah, balling.
He's balling. Okay. Okay.
Here's your free win, by the way. I'm spotting you guys one.
So I got some stats for you guys, though. I'm still kind of like shocked that you took Jacksonville, to be honest. But during the Bears' 6-game losing streak, they averaged less than 20 points a game. But now in their last 2, they've scored above 30. So it's kind of crazy what scoring points can do for an organization. Like, it's funny how that works in the NFL. You score points, you might win more games. Who thought that would be the right outcome? I think the Bears, who actually still have a shot at the playoffs here, believe it or not, they will be playing like they want to get into the playoffs. They're a game behind Arizona for that 7 seed, and they can still get there if Arizona falls to San Francisco. Bears keep their playoff hopes alive here with a decimation of the Jaguars, thereby jinxing the Bears into handing West this easy win for the Jags. You're welcome, Dr. West.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. I appreciate the holiday spirit and sharing the gifts and everything. That's really great of you.
Dr. West's gift to all of us is a Jacksonville win or loss, depending on how you look at it.
Can't wait to take some victory laps next week.
Please do, man.
I'll play the clip back if Jacksonville wins. Don't worry. We've got the 5-9 New York Giants. I got to fix my notes file here really quick. Traveling to the 9-5 Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore, we saw with Kansas City. They are also an 11-point home favorite here with an over-under also at 54, a la Kansas City. The New York Giants playoff push might have come to an end last week where after they'd won 4 in a row, including a win against the Seahawks, they have now lost 2 in a row, failing to score more than 7 points against the Cardinals or the Browns. Baltimore's playoff push remains very much alive, but they really need a loss from the Dolphins as they currently sit in the 8th seed in the AFC after 3 straight wins. And they are averaging 40.3 points a game in those wins, just putting up the stats. Maybe it's a little bit too little too late here, but Dr. West, whose playoff push will continue into next week?
I believe in the Ravens. I believe that they're a good team all year. They had some hiccups in the middle of the year, but I think they're starting to find their footing. And like I said at the time, I thought that the Giants' wins were not. I thought they were. I don't know how to say it. They were getting the lucky breaks. They were fluky wins. They are not as good as what that streak would have indicated. So give me the Ravens.
Taking the Ravens. Jeff, who you got, man?
Well, let me check Daniel Jones' status here. He did practice. I mean, that is a small glimmer of hope, but a very small glimmer of hope. The Ravens are playing outstanding football of late. Lamar Jackson really seems to find his groove after a little bit of a struggle early on. The Giants, they don't really have an offensive identity. Even when Daniel Jones is in there, can you name me a player on their offense that scares anyone? And we're still going up against the Ravens defense, who's very near the top when it comes to NFL defenses. This just seems like a mismatch, plus the game's at Baltimore. The fact that the Giants are even in the playoff consideration just speaks to how atrocious the NFC East is. Ravens win big here. I don't know if they covered the spread. I should dial it back a little bit. I don't think they're covering, but they win.
I think they cover the spread. I think they're going to win this game something like 38-6. Like it's not even close. So my notes for this game, literally, here's what it says. Let's see here. The Ravens are averaging 40 points a game in their last 3, and the Giants haven't scored more than 7 in their last 2. Yeah, Ravens smack the Giants all up and down the field.
Maybe you should try to find like a 25. Maybe you should try to find like a 25-point alternate line. Get like plus 600 or something.
I might try that. I'll throw in a couple parlays so I can lose those too.
I don't know. I think they'll keep it competitive. Like I think the Giants defense actually like made some strides over the past few weeks. Look what they did against Seattle. I just don't think that there's enough here there's again no offensive identity. They can't win the game, but I'd be a little cautious about betting the spread here.
Okay, Jeff, not sold on the spread, but we're going to spread our wings and fly to the 4:00 game. So you like that? I like that one. That one was good.
Oh, that was a smooth transition, man.
Thank you so much. That means a lot to me. We've got 2 5-9 AFC West teams here. The I was calling the Dolphins. That's not a Dolphin. That's a Bronco. The Broncos traveling to the 5-9 Los Angeles Fighting Justin Herberts. They are 3.5-point home favorites here with an over at 49. Guys, coming into the season, I feel like all three of us had a little bit higher expectations for both of these teams. But injuries to Cortland Sutton and Von Miller right out of the gate for the Broncos, and a plethora of injuries for the Chargers, including Derwin James, completely derailed both of these seasons. It's crazy how that works. Look at the 49ers. While neither team has anything to play for, except for maybe Justin Herbert for Rookie of the Year, both teams are starting young quarterbacks looking for experience. So I am still expecting a competitive game here in this one. Jeff? Can Denver sweep the Chargers, who won earlier this year, or will the Chargers get revenge for their Week 7 loss?
All right, first off, let's get something straight. You may be confusing me with Steve. I never had any expectations for the Denver Broncos to approach anything looking like resembling a good team. Drew Lock, Vic Fangio, Jerry Jeudy, yeah, maybe he's talented. Cortland Sutton, again, no one is scared of that. Their defense is aging. They have a bad coach. Anthony Lynn's a bad coach. But I still believe that ultimately the quarterback is the decision point, the pivot point I would put here. Justin Herbert has been playing much. I mean, obviously, the Rookie of the Year, I think Joe Burrow would have won that had he not gotten injured. But Eckler, I think, will have a better showing this week. I think he was a little banged up last week. And I don't know if Keenan Allen's going to play. Their wide receiver core obviously wasn't 100% last week. How many fantasy owners were disappointed when they showed Keenan Allen pre-game saying, "Don't sit me," and then played him, and he resulted with one catch. That cost a lot of people the game, but I think they're going to be more healthy. They've got the momentum. Give me Justin Herbert over Drew Lock. I'm going Chargers.
Dr. West, who you got?
I agree with Jeff. I don't feel great about it. These divisional games, they tend to be close. And, we're talking about Anthony Lynn here. The only thing that is the counter to that is Vic Fangio, which is like Dumb or Dumber. I don't know which one you want.
It's like the Spider-Man meme where they point at each other.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It would be like the most Chargers move to fire Lynn and then hire Fangio after he gets fired too. I don't know. I don't have any interest in betting this game because I just don't have any confidence in it, but for the purpose of the show, I will take the Chargers.
Yeah. With Herbert still going for that Rookie of the Year, who I think he's going to win it. I think that he's going to push to have Keenan Allen out there because he wants to boost those stats, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you got something to play for, you want it, you're going to go for it. Eckler's going to catch 10 passes this game. That's what Denver struggles against, is pass-catching running backs. I do think it's going to be competitive, though. Something like,
oh, sure,
17-13. So like not a fun game. Maybe it's going to be competitive. It's probably going to be ugly with young quarterbacks. But I think Herbert is the X factor, as Jeff said perfectly. I think he's the reason why they win this game. Drew Lock, he's just not doing it for me. He's only really shined 3 times this year, and 2 of those were in like fourth quarters. He had like one good game where he had 4 touchdowns. I can't remember off the top of my head who it was a couple weeks ago. But yeah, taking Herbert over Lock in this matchup. Another Chargers sweep. And we now get to the 4-10 Carolina Panthers traveling to the 6-8 Washington Buckeyes, as we like to call them here on the channel. No more R words from you guys this week. All right, let's go. Washington, a 2-point home favorite here with an over set at 44.5. Honestly, I will say though, guys, I think Matt Rule has a lot to look forward to next year with this Carolina team. Well, yes, they are 4-10, but they didn't have Christian McCaffrey near the entire year. And get this, in 8-point games, which are essentially, we'll say 1-possession games, right? 8-point games. They went 2-8. So they were decently competitive across the board. They were just on the wrong side of a lot of these 1-possession games. But a defense that allowed the 4th most points in the NFC really let them down this year. But this is all about the Ron Rivera revenge game, right, guys? Washington still has a ton to play for. They're in the playoff race to lead the NFC East. Dr. West, can they hold on to their NFC East game lead after your boy Haskins was removed as a captain this past week?
Yeah, let me start by putting on a tirade about Dwayne Haskins. I'm swearing him off. I'm done with him.
Wow.
No more.
Drop a marker.
Big news.
I'm just done with it. He's had so many opportunities and he keeps squandering them. Jeff tried to tell me at the beginning, he tried to tell me, he doesn't show up to meetings. He's an idiot. And I was blinded by my Ohio State fandom and just the potential I saw. But he had an opportunity. He has the opportunity, with Alex Smith being out, he had the opportunity this is when he should be trying his hardest.
Yeah.
He should be cracking the books, studying, and he's out after a loss. His team gets embarrassed and he's out like partying without a mask on with his coach that is immunocompromised from having cancer. Like, it just shows so much immaturity, and he's going to become the next Jamarcus Russell, in my opinion. He's got a ton of talent, but he's just going to squander it by being immature and making stupid decisions. So I do think the Reds. I almost said it.
I think he called himself.
The Washingtons are going to win. I think they're still going to win their division, but I am done with Dwayne Haskins.
Maybe Ron Rivera should send him a blank tape and say it's got some defenses on it and see if he watches it and see what he says. Like they did with Jamarcus Russell.
Like they did. Oh, I like the Jamarcus Russell reference there. That's good. I'm sorry. Is it my turn? I jumped the gun there. I was just so stunned by his mea culpa there that I felt the need to jump in and almost comfort him.
I'm not happy about it. I'm really not. I'm going to sell all my freaking Dwayne Haskins cards.
You know what? I thought the most interesting thing about those photos, a lot of the girls in the background had Dwayne Haskins jerseys or shirts on. Does he just drive around in his car with like Walmart Dwayne Haskins jerseys on so he can put them on the girls? I just think that you hit the nail on the head. I mean, I understand why you would be blinded. If the man went to the University of Cincinnati, I probably would have felt the same way. He's got a ton of talent. It's just, going back in Bengals history, I remember Achilles Smith. When I was a younger guy at around the age of 20, I'd run into him at the bars on Thursday nights. This is not a good look when our starting quarterback is out at 2 a.m. and I'm out at 2 a.m. with him. So just because you have that talent, you can have $1 million arm and a 10-cent head. I don't necessarily think he has a 10-cent head. I just think he's an immature young kid that really just is blowing his chance. Like you said, Wes, this was his perfect opportunity. Even if it wasn't going to be with the football team next year, he could have at least shown the league what he would have done. This league is starving for competent quarterbacks. If Washington would have decided they wanted to move on with him, if he'd at least showed up and been competent and been ready to play, another team would have probably given him a chance. Look at how many chances Josh Rosen has gotten. So it's just a shame that seems to have thrown all that talent away. That's a long way to say that either way, the Panthers right now, they need to find a quarterback. That will help Matt Rule. Teddy Bridgewater is a good placeholder. Maybe they move up in the draft. Maybe someone falls to them at 4 and 10. They're still in the top tier of the picks. But right now, I don't think McCaffrey's going to play. And that Washington defense is legit. You should be proud of Chase Young and Terry McLaurin. Those are both good, competent Buckeyes that represent very well. And Chase Young is going to be a defensive force for a long time. Give me the Washington football team.
Man, Dr. West, you may have to get your Chase Young mosaic thing out here for the last week of the year.
Yeah, I'll get that ready. I just got a brand new, nice, crispy one today.
You can't get rid of that, man.
It's all he's trying to get the whole collection of Chase Young mosaics, man. It looks beautiful. Yeah, it looks amazing. So Alex Smith is not practicing today. Today's Wednesday, which is not a good sign for his availability. This defense, though, I'm not going to take too much longer here, has only allowed an average of 15 points a game over their past 5. They kept the Seahawks very competitive. It was 20-15 in that game. They should be able to hold a McCaffrey-less Carolina here under 20 points yet again, I would think. One final question there for you, Dr. West. How do you feel about Justin Fields going to Carolina?
I love it. I think if he could be the understudy for Bridgewater, who plays kind of a similar type game. If he had a year to mature underneath a good quarterback like that, I think it would do wonders for his career. I tweeted it out. I got 0 retweets and 0 likes, but it's on the record that I think Justin Fields is the next Deshaun Watson. They have a very similar game type. Similar arm strength and accuracy. It's just going to be a thing. Justin Fields has. We'll see what happens in the college football playoffs, but he has a thing about not doing great in big games. So we'll see. But I have a lot of faith in him.
I think that would be the ideal landing spot for him. Not only do you have a young coach that's done well with quarterbacks in Matt Rule, but Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator for Joe Burrow at LSU, worked wonders for former Ohio State quarterback in Joe Burrow. So I think that'd be the ideal landing spot. Not to get off on a tangent, and I think Wes kind of covered it, but Justin Fields didn't really impress me in that Northwestern game. But it's just one game. He's still very young. He hasn't had a lot of experience. No one can doubt the raw physical talent there. I think he's going to be a potential NFL star. He just like this would be the ideal spot. 1 year under Bridgewater so he can learn the ropes and get a little bit more tutelage.
Yep, I think going to Jacksonville. Wait a second. I think going to Jacksonville is not the best spot for him, honestly. I don't think that's the organization, especially. I mean, I would say the Jets or Jacksonville, honestly, at this point. I don't think either one is going to help with his development. Whoever goes 1 and 2, I think Carolina, where he's going to have that Christian McCaffrey dump off. You've got Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel, all these options on this offense. They're just missing the quarterback. Where Bridgewater, he's shown it this year. He probably was playing hurt a lot of the year. Or probably come out like, oh, he's playing with 3 cracked ribs and a torn rotator cuff or something like that. Like something weird. He's not the answer for this particular team. They need to go defense and they need to go Justin Fields. If they can trade up and maybe take it away from the Jets, maybe the Jets like Sam Darnold and want to get out of that number 2 spot now. Let's say they get the number 2 spot. I could see Carolina doing some damage with Justin Fields in the next 2 or 3 years with McCaffrey then.
Yeah.
I'm this is another reason I'm pissed at the Jets because now I'm seeing all these mock drafts that show them just taking that tackle with the second pick.
No.
Then sticking with Darnold, and then the Bengals are stuck. In the mock draft that I saw from the day, the Bengals are taking a tight end at the number 3 pick. And
hell, that's beyond stupid. If they don't get the tackle, trade down because in that scenario, then Fields is available. And there will be teams that are willing to pick up that phone and snatch him up.
I hope so.
You can get 2 tackles then for that 3 spot. Yeah, if you're going to guarantee Justin Fields at the 3, then teams will be calling the Bengals to be like, "What do you want? We'll give you our offensive line," which we should take honestly at that point.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I think in one sense that's good because it would potentially allow us to accumulate more picks. And I say us, I mean the Bengals. But in a negative sense, I don't really trust the Bengals front office to use those picks very well. So that would be the nightmare scenario.
If there's one thing the Bengals need going into next year, it's a fucking tight end, that's for sure. Like
they spent
a receiving one.
Round pick on Drew Sample 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Drew fucking Sample.
Who was our first round pick? What was it 7 or 8 years ago? Was it Alabama tight end? What the hell was his name? Damn. He's in Arizona now. I can't remember.
No, you're thinking of what's his face with
Oklahoma. Thank you.
Jermaine Gresham.
Yeah.
I don't think he's in the league anymore.
He at least played for like 10 years, but
yeah.
he
In the Bengals
was serviceable.
Yeah, he put up good tape, but they did pick him over Gronk, but Gronk was injured his senior year, so it was kind of like a roll of the dice kind of thing. But yeah, I mean the tape looked good on Gresham, but yeah, they've whiffed on so many picks, like Billy Price. Sorry to bring up an Ohio State Buckeye, but that's another guy that we completely missed on. And then Cedric Ogbuehi the year before, our 2nd round pick. Also that year was Jake Fisher. That's a 1st and 2nd round pick in the same draft class on 2 tackles. Neither one of them panned out. And then the following year or the year after, you take Billy Price, who can't sniff the starting lineup. So they've whiffed on a lot of picks.
I think a lot of Ohio State fans would have told you Billy Price wasn't the answer, but for some reason,
I don't mean to put that
the Bengals.
Ohio State
No. It's just funny that the Bengals they tried to see like the good in people, but just they're not good.
The one Ohio State guy, not to get off on a tangent, that I love on the Bengals is Sam Hubbard.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Hubbard's good. Yeah, guys, we have completely devolved into NFL draft talk. We'll have a draft video out there for you guys, I promise. Let's get back into the games here. Let's get back into Sunday afternoon games. We've got the 4-9 Philadelphia 4-9-1. Woo! There's a tie. Philadelphia Eagles traveling to the 5-9 Dallas Cowboys. Eagles 2-point road favorite here in Jerry World. 49.5 is the over/under. I know we just left Washington, but if the Buckeyes lose that game, then this game is actually super live for the NFC East title. That's actually a really big game for Washington, despite the 33-26 loss to the Cardinals and 5 losses out of their last 6 games. The Jalen Hurts effect appears to have revitalized this Eagles offense. He threw for 338 yards and 3 touchdowns in that loss to the Cardinals. Meanwhile, the Cowboys, they must win out since they have already lost both games to Washington, so they cannot have the same record as them. They have to win out. Philly actually plays Washington Week 17. That's a game to keep our eye on. And Dallas has actually scored 71 points in their last 2 games. Jeff, which team keeps the NFC East interesting?
See, I feel like you guys are going to pick the Eagles here because Jalen Hurts is playing so well. And you know what? I want to make up a little bit of ground, and maybe I'm completely wrong here. I wish West would have gone first, but give me Andy Dalton. You know what? He played well for us for a few years. And you know what? Tony Pollard actually ignited that offense a little bit. He looked more live than Zeke has looked in the past, 6 or 8 weeks. He gave them a little bit of a jolt. And you know what? There's a little bit of tape on Jalen Hurts. Yeah, he's a good runner. But now, you take that away, and granted, take that with a huge grain of salt because the Dallas defense is the furthest thing from a competent defense. But they got a little bit of film here, a little bit of momentum, and I want to pick up a game here. So give me the Dallas Cowboys.
Dr. West, hang on just a second. Hang on.
Oh.
So, before you pick, I'm going to read off my note here that I had because, Jeff, I don't know why you're snooping, man, but my note says, this pick is coming from me thinking that you're both going to take the Eagles, so I have to differentiate here. This could be a much more fun game than people expect, with Tony Pollard actually having more total yards in the game last week than Zeke has had in one game all year. I'm going to take the Cowboys at home, and I'm going to try to make up a game here on Dr. West.
Wow. What if I take the Cowboys too?
I mean, dude, at this point, you have to take the Eagles.
I was going to. If you remember last week, I said I thought the Eagles were going to win out. They almost did it last week. They probably should have done it last week. So they screwed me up a little bit, but I do think that they are going to win this game. Picking the Cowboys is never the answer for picking up games on people. Never picking with Andy Dalton is never a good idea. Yeah, I think that you guys have left me with the better of the two teams, and I would gladly take it.
We're getting you back for your Jaguars pick there.
Yeah, I did give you a free square there.
We felt like we owed you something.
Yeah. It's the Christmas season. You gave us a gift. Now I think Jeff and I can gladly, throw one back at you and leave you on the Philadelphia island alone. It's a Jalen Hurts island. It's been pretty good over the past couple of weeks. But that will take us. I don't know where to start with this game. Like, do I do what I do with the Jets and just throw them off the screen? Fly away, Rams. The 9-5, I'll move it back, I guess. The 9-5 Los Angeles Rams are traveling to the 10-4 Seattle Seahawks here. Seahawks, 1.5-point home favorite here against the Rams, over instead of 47. I don't know what to say at this point about this particular game. After a 23-20 loss to the Jets at home, I honestly don't even understand how this team is 9-5. Jared Goff only threw for 209 yards against a Jets defense that was allowing more than 280 pass yards a game. They're third worst in the NFL pass yards, one of the worst defenses in the NFL. But somehow, he gets a little bit of redemption here, and he gets yet another team that just bleeds passing yards, as the Seahawks actually allow the most passing yards per game in the NFL. But those Seahawks, they have won 2 in a row now, including a win against the Jets, something that the Rams could not do. Dr. West, could you enlighten us with your thoughts on that Rams loss, please?
Boy, what is there to say? I wish everybody could have seen my text messages from Anthony on the day that the Jets lost. There were some colorful words used. Something like the NFL is a fucking joke.
Yeah, dude, they ruined my parlay.
Which then the Bengals ruined again also. So
that's fair.
I picked. I'm just going to keep saying it because it sounds so good. I picked the Seahawks to win the NFC at the beginning of the year, but I'm just feeling more and more uneasy about it as the year goes on. Watching this defense, I did not expect Seattle. Their defense is really bad, which I did not anticipate. That being said, I got to stick to my guns. I'm going to take the Seahawks. I don't feel great about it, but I think this will be a close divisional game, just like I've said a million times in a bunch of different games. The Rams, I would not be surprised if they came out and really wanted to. I like McVay just like puts the hammer to his team all week, being like, "You just lost to probably the worst team in the history of NFL. You need to get your shit together." Hopefully, they're running some laps and doing two-a-days. But yeah, give me the Seahawks.
Was it really? I think the only person that should be doing 2 days is Jared Goff, who couldn't hit a broadside of a barn with a beach ball at this point, it looks like.
Yeah.
Jeff, are you going to take the Rams to rebound here?
Yeah, I am. Not so much because I have a whole lot of confidence in them. Again, this is the game I'm most intrigued by all week because this could go either way. I could clearly see Seattle winning, but I still feel like the Rams defense, Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald, and just the Seahawks have just been struggling. But Russ tried to trademark "let Russ cook," and ever since he's done that, he's been doing the opposite of cooking. And they've got a little bit of an issue with Chris Carson being banged up. Carlos Hyde did have a big run last week, but outside of DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett's been non-existent. They don't have a tight end worth talking about, and I just think that even though they have Jared Goff and the Cam Akers high ankle sprain, so they're back to the Darrell Henderson, Malcolm Brown show. But give me a pissed off Sean McVay, who's got supposedly an eidetic memory when it comes to football, to best Pete Carroll here and redeem that loss to the Jets. Give me the Rams.
If there was one game I bet Sean McVay wishes he didn't have an eidetic memory, it was that game last week. I'm sure he wants to wipe that one away, but it's not possible. The man's a genius. I will keep this short and sweet. My take here is easy. If the Rams can't beat the Jets at home, how the hell can they beat the Seahawks in Seattle?
Oh, it's very fair.
That's my question I asked.
It's basic arithmetic.
It's the transitive property. In this crazy NFL year, I look forward to be proved wrong yet again here. But again, I'm in the game of pivots or X factors. Who's the better quarterback? Is it Jared Goff or is it Russell Wilson? 9.5 games out of 10, it's going to be Russell Wilson here. Jared Goff, he can throw for 400 yards. It seems like randomly now. It almost seems like an accident when it happens. But I think Russ is the better quarterback, and he's at home here. I'm gonna take the Seahawks.
Well, can't disagree with those points, but I'd love to pick up a game on the West. So
yeah,
looking forward to being on this island.
Yeah, it's the Jared Goff just lost to the Jets island.
Yes.
We'll throw that out there.
The island of misfit toys to go to the Christmas
That's
game.
it. Yeah. That will take us to I love this game, y'all. I really do. Sunday Night Football. 10-4 Tennessee Titans traveling to 11-3 Green Bay. Green Bay about a field goal home favorite here with an over-under week high at 56. I'll show you why here in just a second. Would you believe when I tell you this stat that Tennessee has scored more total points with 436 than the Chiefs, who have 435, and the Packers, who have 434 this season? Yes, the Tennessee Titans are leading the NFL in total points scored this season, and the Packers are third. So, guys, we've got an offensive shootout on our hands here on Sunday Night Football. The Titans have won 4 of their last 5, while Green Bay has won 6 of their last 7. I don't know how much more I can hype this game up. So, Jeff, who are you taking on Sunday night?
Wow, I'm with you. I thought the Seattle Los Angeles Rams matchup was great, but this is going to be a lot of fun. This is going to be 2 offenses at the top of their game right now. You know what? You know what month it is? It's December, which is Derrick Henry prime time. And that play action game that he sets up for Ryan Tannehill with A.J. Brown, Corey Davis, that's going to be a whole lot of fun. The defenses here are nothing to write home about outside of Green Bay's Jair Alexander, who's probably one of the best corners in all of football. Although it's hard for me to pick against who I consider the front runner for the NFL MVP and Aaron Rodgers playing on his home turf, the frozen tundra of Lambeau. I don't care if there's fans or not. This is going to be a classic matchup. But at the end of the day, I'm going, not feeling great about it, but give me Aaron Rodgers over Derrick Henry and Tannehill in this matchup.
The way you let off there, I thought you were taking the Titans.
Mm-hmm.
I was tempted, but then I remembered Aaron Rodgers at home.
Okay. Dr. West, you taking Aaron Rodgers at home?
You know, Anthony, I'm going to pass this back to you. I need some time. I need some more pitches to.
Okay.
I'm really on the fence on this one.
Okay. So I'll give you the stats that I had for my pitch here. The Titans, they are averaging 37.4 points a game in their last 5. Huge. But they're allowing more than 25 points a game in that same stretch. Meanwhile, Green Bay is allowing roughly 20 points a game in their last 4. They're at home. Green Bay's defense is, we'll say, stepped up. We'll put that in quotation marks, and they're very light quotation marks over the past month or so. I am going to take the Packers because, as Jeff said it perfectly, Aaron Rodgers is at home. Give me the Pack.
That's not exactly what I was expecting you to say. I was wanting you to talk me into the Titans. I really do like the Titans, but I just can't get over how bad their defense is. Seems like the type of game where I think I'm going to lock in Devontae Adams to just put up a ton of points. So I too will take the Packers, but I don't feel very strongly about it.
What bumps me, honestly, is oh my God, I literally just had his name and I lost it. The Tennessee cornerback, Malcolm
Butler?
Butler.
Oh,
God
Butler.
bless it. I had his last name and I could not think of his last name.
Former Patriot, right?
It was, yeah. He was the reason why I won the Super Bowl. But I literally had it and it just slipped right out of my head. You love to see that.
Wait, you won the Super Bowl?
A couple years ago, yeah.
I didn't remember seeing you on the field.
I got the ring's upstairs. I left it upstairs.
Okay.
I apologize.
Okay.
I'll get it for next video. Don't worry.
Okay.
He's actually been playing really well over the past month or so. Malcolm Butler has. I think he can match up on the outside with Adams and not shut him down.
He's too slow.
Something to watch out for.
Malcolm Butler is really big and physical, but he's so damn slow.
You can
Here's
have
the one
over the
thing
top
I
help.
could give you, Wes.
Huh?
There's one thing I could give you. The Packers have given up 18 rushing touchdowns on the season. So they've been far from
Are you trying to make me switch so then you can pick up another game on that?
I'm just saying you were looking for a counter argument. My counter argument would be the reason I was on the fence is the Packers' run defense is not solid. And that is the one thing that can keep them in the game. If they can run the ball control offense and keep Aaron Rodgers on the sideline, Aaron Jones is a little banged up, that would be my counter argument. With all that being said, it's still at home. It's still Lambeau Field. It's still Aaron Rodgers, who's the front runner for the MVP. So that's why I'm personally picking the Packers. But if you wanted a reason to go Titans.
Oh, you caught that, huh? It was very subtle. I did switch to the Titans. Yeah.
All right.
That was kind of shady there.
It was.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be rude and interrupt you, man. I just want to throw my pick out there and see what happens. Yeah.
You are a Super Bowl champion. I don't want to interrupt you.
Yeah, I do have the ring.
Yeah, he's the guy that sprays the water in their mouth on the side.
I'm assistant water boy. I'm not assistant to the water boy. It's a real ring getting position, all right? Let's get away from that game. Picks are locked on Sunday Night Football. Oh, speaking of the Patriots, here we go. Monday Night Football. The 11-3 Buffalo Josh Allens are traveling to the 6-8 New England Patriots. Buffalo a 7-point, roughly touchdown road favorite here in Foxborough, over at 46. In a game where I wish a lot more was on the line, I unfortunately have come to the realization that the Patriots are just not very good this year. So the smile on my face. Buffalo, on the other hand, has been very good this year, winning 7 of their past 8. That Hail Murray game, it goes without saying, it would have been 8 out of their last 8. And are averaging 35 points a game over their last 6. The Patriots will be without Stephon Gilmore this game, who's now on IR, as well as no guarantee that Cam Newton even sees the field as the Pats are now eliminated from the playoffs. Dr. West, who wins the Monday night AFC East showdown?
I do think that Cam Newton's going to play because they have no reason not to play him. They have a 1-year contract on him, so they might as well run him into the ground. But I think the Bills are going to win this. I think that they are going to really beat up on the team that has just buried them in their division for the past decade. So it's going to feel good to go into Foxborough and just give them the business. So I like them, and I like them to cover the number too.
Jeff, I know Josh Allen is your spirit analyst, so we'll save your much love for last. I'm not adding anything to this. I'm just throwing my pick up here, and we'll move forward.
Yeah, I mean, I think Wes really did a great job there because I think there's so much animosity for this Bills team. They have been kicked in the teeth so many times by the Patriots, and now they get the opportunity to return that favor. They're going to be amped. Stephon Gilmore's out. Stephon Diggs is playing. They've got all the motivation in the world. Now the 2 seed is potentially – I believe they are the 2 seed right now. I don't know what the tiebreaker scenario is, but the 2 seed's in play for them. They're going to come out with a whole lot of motivation. Bill Belichick, based on his press conference, is tired of the question as to whether or not Cam Newton is going to play. He will play, regardless the Bills roll.
Taking the Bills for the sweep. Jeff, you sure you don't want to change? I know you're a big Patriots fan, so.
Oh, unfortunately, it breaks my heart to go against them. I almost wish they would have played this, or I don't wish. I would like to. I wonder if Bill Belichick wishes he would have went with Stidham all year and maybe just tanked so they have a higher pick in the draft. I know they had a lot of people opt out on the defensive side of the ball, but they don't look like they have any skill players that I would feel confident about next year. I don't think they're, unless they do some major maneuvers, I don't really think they're going to be a very competitive team next year either.
The only thing is Edelman is eligible to come off the IR, but they did not activate him, at least yet this week, and why would you? There's no point.
But at this stage in his career, like Edelman,
he's what, 36 now, I think? 35 or 36? This is a slot guy who's been beat up. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. Just he's gone across the middle one too many times. Like I don't think he makes a difference here. Sony Michel did look competent last week. I'm not sure if Damian Harris plans on playing, but Sony Michel ripped off some big runs. N'Keal Harry looks like a bust.
He's a bust.
Again, I just don't see an offensive future for that team. I know they'll get some people back on defense next year, and you can always be competitive with the defense, but they're going to need a total infusion of offensive life for this team to not only win the game this week, but that's obviously out of the question, but to be in the chase next year.
Agreed. This team needs a lot of work, and it starts with a different quarterback. Stidham's not the answer. Cam Newton's not the answer. I know you guys really can't see me right now, but I'm not wearing a Patriots shirt this evening because I knew I was picking the Bills. I couldn't do that. I literally gave you guys a game last week. I had Miami on my sheet, and I picked New England like an idiot. And that would have been another game. I'd be tied with Jeff this week, but no, I had to pick New England. I'm an idiot. They need a lot of work. The 6 wins gets them, like the 13th or 14th pick, like 12th pick maybe. I haven't looked at the drafts, order. But not a good pick. Not going to get any good value out of that pick, I feel like. So maybe Bill could work some magic in the draft. Who knows? But this team needs a lot of work. Let's say that. Defense
Do you think the Jets would be willing to trade Darnold potentially
I don't want
the
Sam
Patriots?
Darnold. I don't want him.
God, no.
I don't think he's a good NFL. We'll say, even though he's been in the league a couple of years now, he's not even he has no prospects. Like, he's been under Adam Gase so long, he's damaged goods. Let's say that.
You could have said that about Ryan Tannehill. How's Ryan Tannehill looking right about now?
So Tannehill with the Jets, though, he was only under Gase for 2 seasons? He was already in the league.
Tannehill was with the Dolphins.
Or that's what I mean. Yeah, with the Dolphins. Yeah, sorry. But he was only under Gase for a year or 2, right?
At least 2.
So, but I think he was already in the league before that, so he wasn't molded incorrectly. Whereas I think Darnold is molded incorrectly.
I think people are underselling Darnold. I don't necessarily think he's a franchise-altering quarterback, but I think the man's got some talent. He just needs some coaching. So, and if you look at a lot of skilled players, once they get away from Gase, they tend to improve. So. First of all, I don't think that trade would ever happen because I don't think you rarely see in division trades. So I don't think you'd have to worry about it. Just what about Dwayne Haskins?
Nope.
Nope.
Yeah, I don't want that immature jackass on my team. Get the hell out of here. The New England strip clubs are probably not what he's looking for anyway, so he wouldn't want to go there. So.
Right.
So Jeff, let's say Burrow was in Cincinnati. Would you want Darnold on the Bengals?
Depends on the price. Depends on the price. I would definitely be willing to like give like a third or fourth round pick for him. Yeah.
I don't think the Jets would give him
here's
up for
another
anything
guy.
less than
I
at least
think
one first round.
Yeah, well, I mean, it depends on where they end up in. If they're going to take Justin Fields or I think the lesson that Arizona has taught us is when you realize you don't have the guy, you move on. Look what Arizona did with Josh Rosen. They spent a first-round pick on Josh Rosen. I think he was the 10th overall pick. The very next year, they ended up with the number 1 overall pick. Convention says, hey, we don't give up on a quarterback after year 1, but they did, and they took Kyler Murray. So,
yep.
I think that the Jets ultimately, if they're picking in the top 3, they're going to take a quarterback, and that's going to make Darnold available to someone for the relative cheap price.
Yeah, maybe Carolina goes after him, but then again, I don't think that's a good fit.
Oh, the rumor is the Rams. McVay likes him. He's a Southern California guy.
Of course.
They don't think that Goff is the answer there, and so there's rumors that Darnold is maybe headed towards the Rams if that ever happens.
That'd be interesting. I would like to see that. You get that McVay now with Darnold, that will untap his full potential. We'll see. Give it a year of Darnold in LA. You keep Kupp and you keep Robert Woods and you keep the defense.
He's better than Goff, I think.
Yeah, Goff is not. I mean, I think Anthony was talking about earlier in the video. Essentially, like defenses have learned that, hey, just show them something, and then after the play clock dwindles down, show them something else when McVay's no longer talking in his helmet. So,
Yep. Either way, we'll get back to this Buffalo game or not. It's a sweep. We'll get away from it. I can't look at it anymore. We will close out our Week 16. We had a lot of extra information here in this week, which is always fantastic. But we've got our survivor picks. Jeff, maybe it's good. You were going to take the Rams last week, and I forced you out of that pick, saving you from your demise. But I mean, you just can't help yourself, can you? You had to get a loss either way.
Yeah, I mean, it was, I went out on a limb, and I guess I was going to get a loss either way. So I feel a little bit better. So,
So this week, guys, I'm going to kick things off with Dr. Wes. I'm feeling gracious. It's the Christmas season. I want to see if I can match Dr. Wes's pick because I'm not changing mine.
Oh, boy.
And we both have not picked this team yet. Hint, hint.
Okay. Well, I'm taking the Buffalo Bills, which you have already taken, so that's good for me. Just for all the reasons we just discussed. They are out of what I have left, they're the best choice in my opinion.
Good deal. Jeff, who you got, man?
All right, my easy pick would be the Bears. But I feel like that's boring. Who the hell wants me to pick?
They're going to lose to the Jaguars. Go ahead.
Okay, that's fair. Does that count?
It wasn't even one of our sweep games.
So wait, is Wes taking the Jaguars for Survivor? Is that what I heard?
No, definitely not.
All right. Well, that's going to make things interesting. Then I guess I'll go with the Washington football team.
Oh, you took
That's my second best one.
Not gonna lie, my 2 picks I had written down were Washington and Chicago, and I was hoping Dr. West was going to take Chicago, so I could also take them. If you're going to take Washington, Jeff, that's what I was going to take. I'll take Chicago.
Perfect.
Then.
This is lining up for the Jaguars win.
It is. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better scenario here, man. Like the fact that you took Jacksonville in the pick'ems, and I have now taken Chicago in the Survivor, has all but guaranteed you a victory in that game this week. It's uncanny how that works. The Anthony curse will strike upon the Buffalo Bills, or the Chicago Bears. I'm sorry, I was looking at Buffalo when I said that. And we'll let Dr. West, toot his horn all the way to victory in Week 17. Any final thoughts on this week, guys? Christmas week, you excited?
Love it. Come get this too.
Totally excited. I know no one cares, but I'm hoping for a big week for the Bears against the Jacks. More Allen Robinson, David Montgomery. Let's go Bears.
Yeah. How many championships are you in, Jeff?
I don't like to brag, but 3.
3? Okay. And I'm in 1. Dr. West, are you in any championships?
No, I'm a complete injury-riddled season for me.
Wait, Tua, is that you? Oh my God, we've got Tua in the video. This is incredible. He's even wearing his helmet. Tua, what do you think about Dr. West's picks this week?
Hi, Anthony. I think he's the best.
I don't think that's what Tua sounds like. I'm just going to go on.
Surprisingly, he does. I've met him in person. That's what he actually sounds like.
That's like remember that guy from Notre Dame, the linebacker that had the
yeah.
Ben Taiteo or whatever?
Yeah.
Oh god.
I'm anti-Tayo's girlfriend.
And on that note, guys, leave your picks down in the comments. Pick all 16 games. All you got to do, beat Dr. West, and you get Tua to show up in your YouTube video as well. There he is right there. You get him, the rookie card, amongst other cards. Dr. West, we can't let him continue with this winning streak amongst the picks in the comments. Remember, guys, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We have hit 100 subscribers. I'm going to drop the 100 subscriber video in the comments below. Go check that out, and we will see you guys next week for our season finale, Week 17 videos. Merry Christmas, guys, and Happy Holidays.
And good luck.
Bring it on, guys.